What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been quite a while since I uploaded last, but that does not mean that we were not really busy here getting the 180 ready for the Irish Drift season that is coming up in just a few weeks. But now I think that we have everything pretty much buttoned up. All of the upgrades are more or less done, and the day has finally come where we are about to load up, put the car in the trailer and head up to Wicklow, up to Track Day Performance to get this thing on the rolling road and see what numbers it makes. So from previous episodes you would have seen that we have a new sponsor from this year, and that is Radium Engineering. They have kindly come on board and supplied us with a host of new fueling upgrades for this season, one of which is that fuel pressure regulator that you just saw. Really tasty bit of kit, and also tucked away under the inlet manifold of the SR22 is also their fuel rail, which is this year housing Dyno's 900cc fuel injectors supplied by Motorsport 56, another one of our partners for this year. So it'll be actually really interesting to see what kind of changes this makes to the SR20 from last season, where we had 740cc injectors and more or less a standard fuel system other than that. So I don't foresee a whole pile of power increases coming from it, but I think that the 740s that we had in it last year were more or less completely maxed out. So it'll be interesting to see if these 900cc Dyno injectors are able to keep up a little bit more. But before we can load it up on the trailer, there's just one more thing to do. This thing has been in the shed with months and it definitely has a big layer of dust up in it. So we're going to start it up, bring it out the front and give it a quick wash down before we load it up in the trailer. Now that's it loaded up and ready for the morning, I will see you bright and early. Good morning guys, welcome to a new day. It is super early this morning, about a 6 a.m. start to get on the road nice and early and get up to Robbie in time. But it's okay, because I've got a big cup of coffee to keep me going here. Fingers crossed that it's going to be a relatively issue-free day. It should be just a case of dialing in the new Dyno 900cc injectors into the map that Robbie had previously, which the car was running absolutely sweet on. But because I did all the work, I would be expecting a few niggly issues, but fingers crossed I got everything right the first go. But yeah guys, about a 3-hour drive ahead of me, and I will see you guys up there. Cool cars you'll always see at Robbie's. Check these out. Just a few absolutely awesome GT86, R32 GTR, Evo, Subaru, awesome escorts. and that's not even half them. So hopefully we'll get some cool shots on the dyno, and yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date. Also, if you're not familiar with rolling roads, Robbie uses a Dyno Pack hub dyno. Lots of advantages to these over traditional rolling roads, but the main one is that you don't actually get any wheel slip, especially with higher horsepower cars. On traditional dynos, you have to load up the back of the car just to try and get them to grip. With this, the dyno is right onto the hub of the car, so you don't get any wheel slip or anything, and it's actually much easier to tune. You get a much more accurate reading too, so I much prefer these over the traditional rolling roads. As it's impossible to talk in the dyno room because it's so loud, I thought I'd do a voiceover to walk you through what's going on. The first thing that Robbie does is a fuel table. To do this, he basically sets the car to a certain RPM, starting at about 2000 and working his way up to redline in 500 RPM increments, varying load as he goes. This is where we ran into the first issue with a small misfire, as you can hear. Thankfully this was sorted with just a set of plugs and by reducing down the gap on those plugs. That's done, it was time to move on to the real tuning, where he does 4 gear pulls to see how the car is running under full load. This is where we ran into the second issue. The car was boost spiking to over 2 bar as soon as it came on, and the ECU was immediately cutting power as a safety. Thankfully Robbie was able to work around this and got it working perfectly in the end, as you can hear here. Here's where we started making some real power with a couple of small hiccups still in the map. Now I'll stop rambling on and let you enjoy the final pulls where you can listen to the SR20 sing. Well, that ended up being a super successful day on the dyno. Not without its flaws, which I'll talk about later on the way home when we get a chance. But in the end, everything seemed to work out, and we finally cracked that 500 horsepower figure that you saw on the last pull. So I'm really, really happy about that. Car looks to be running really nice. Few boost creep issues and stuff like that, but overall made good power consistently, which I'm really happy with. Now it's time to load up and head home. Finally on the way home from what I would call a really successful day on the dyno. Yeah, it started off with a few issues, mostly around boost control. I think I might have a small bit of a problem with my wastegate. It's getting a bit old now, and Robbie thinks that it might be sticking a little bit, so it's either due a rebuild or I think I might need a new wastegate eventually. But he was able to work around it by reducing the gain on the boost controller pretty much down to almost nothing, so that it's coming on a lot easier and giving the wastegate a little bit more time to open, so we don't have that over boosting issue. But the main thing is that it came away from there running really well, and we finally broke the 500 brake horsepower number, so I'm super happy about that. It's the first time ever that the car has actually ran so well that it's actually running over 500 brake horsepower. So I think that from the last time. The old injectors were definitely limiting the car a little bit, and it looks like the D-Works fuel injectors with the radium upgrades as well have been enough to just creep over that 500 brake horsepower mark and increase the torque a little bit too. So super happy with how everything came out. Massive shout out to Robbie for fitting me in. I really appreciate it. And that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks so much for watching again, and make sure you stay tuned, because before IDS round 1 I have a few more tricks up my sleeve and a few nice pieces for the car yet. So keep watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you will be able to be notified as soon as the videos go live. And until then, guys, catch you in the next one. Peace. Gotcha, you guys didn't really think that I was going to outro a video like that. After just getting the car mapped, I had to take it for a spin. The thing is absolutely mental. I can't believe how fast it is. It feels so much more responsive than before. But super happy with it. Again, very productive day. Everything went pretty well. And now I can close out the video. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.